Alright, hey everybody, Jared Napolitano here for the stream of OCS Playoff Top 16, allstarz97, Justin Desai versus Connor Britton, aka Stubbly. I'm streaming here, and hopefully everything's okay. From an audio perspective, I'm on Epic Duel, the new GEMP interface, hopefully for some cool visual effects for this. Hopefully people in the chat, let me know if you guys can hear me okay. We have Old Allies from Justin, and Connor's playing Deal, which is definitely something a little geared more towards mains. I think Justin's known to be more of a mains player. He played Communing at Worlds. I think he used to play TRM a lot. He did play OA, I'm pretty sure, at Nationals a couple months ago. Yeah, hey Paul. Yeah, no problem. Hey guys, thanks for all joining. Hopefully we have a nice, smooth stream with no interruptions. So Connor's one of my teammates, so I'm hoping to provide some insights on kind of the approach as this game goes along. This is probably one of Paul's favorite decks. This is the Deal deck that I think I know Joe played at Worlds because I was actually fortunate to be victorious against him in Game 6. But as Joe's talked a lot about this on his streams, but it's a very straightforward deck. And you kind of just do your thing at your sites. Connor's going to go pull Bespin against Joe. He activated Bespin turn 1, which, that can set the deck back a little bit, but also the new shield can set it back a little bit as well. Or will definitely set it back because I can't deploy the Executor there on turn 1. Yeah, it should be on the PC account, Harpster. I don't think you get the notification. I think that's one of the drawbacks of the auto host function. Like it'll appear if you go to the twitch.tv/SWCCGPC, it'll say so-and-so streaming. Yeah. No, it should be on both. If you go to the Twitch, it should appear on both. This shouldn't just be it's not a switcheroo. We tried the streaming team to get everybody who might stream on the auto host list so people could find the game. So out comes Goldenrod. I might have just called it Professor. Obviously that's the new shield, or an updated shield I should say, which makes they must never again leave the city. It's suspended on the first turn, and of course the usual use 2 force for the free stuff like Blizzard 4 and Executor. Just auto host. Yeah, and the thing is what we'll see too, one of the drawbacks, it's easy to say, oh, everyone should just host from the PC channel, but like one of the things we saw the other night was that Justin Miyashiro came in and the settings were changed, so he had to play around with them for 10-15 minutes because someone else had changed the settings. So that's one drawback, and I think just in general people like being on their own channel, so that they have all the settings. Like I'm on a Mac too, and none of the preloaded stuff would appear from a PC. But beyond that, we have a pretty usual OA start here. Justin gets out Raise Encampment, Raise Encampment. He pulls Finn with a Brave Resistance, putting Holdo to the use pile. We see, this was something I think that popped up in the last 6 months, where you'd see the Wisa Boston Ash Chamber package in No Idea and Old Allies. Yeah, I totally agree, Eric. I think watching or spectating on this is really neat, but playing on it takes a while to get used to, and there's still a couple bugs that's still beta, as we see Dash and Rogue 12 come out against Arnett, Tempest 1. Justin's being aggressive here with Radis, Poe. This is going to be 2 Battle Destiny. Arnett does draw on this, I believe. Yeah, it draws 1 if not able to. So I think Justin saw kind of an interesting path here with Bespin not coming out turn 1, which would add 1 to the deploy for all these characters. We have a Trample from Connor, and he'll hit and knock off Stubbly. So we're still going to see 2 Battle Destiny. If Justin were to battle, he's got 3 force left. This is getting right off the bat. So Justin does not do the whole ray to the encampment, move over, fly up, general Calrissian thing that you'll often see with old allies. Instead, he's going for the downtown plaza to try to really set Connor back. I wonder, someone in the chat, why did Connor pull this shield? Imperial Detention. I feel like I see this card pulled a bunch, and a lot of times, like, I know obviously it's good against like R2 and Red 5. Obviously it's good against Master Luke. But the Resistance Transport, duh. Yeah, of course. Which I feel like a lot of times doesn't get pulled because is it really worth the shield? So we have Sneak Attack from Connor. He's going to put something on his reserve deck, presumably something that's a Destiny 5 or higher, so he can crack the immunity here. And this... Alright, so Justin still has 2 force, so whatever might happen here, he can move away. He only draws a 2, which is good for Connor. This thing is immune less than 4. And yeah, so like the chat's saying, Arnett adds 1 to attrition. What am I talking about? Poe gets a second Destiny, of course. Sorry, just getting a little, this is a shotgun start here. So Connor draws the 5 that he put on top with Sneak Attack V. And Justin drew a 5. So Arnett will cover. Oh no, he won't. He's a 3? Or no, is he a 4? He's a 3 with +1 from Arrest Order. So that's going to clear everything but the Speeder. Yeah, Speeder left vulnerable. Even, obviously, he can't move away. Connor's going to be activating only 9, so that's going to be tough to mount a counter beat. Yeah. Okay. Alright, looks like Justin's deciding. Poe is forfeit 6 and Jin is 5. I would get them confused a lot, but yeah, so interesting. Justin loses the whole Speeder even though he didn't have to. So interesting call there. Paul saw that about maybe being vulnerable, but it's interesting because it's kind of only activating 9. He has none saved. Yeah, I mean, I guess he doesn't even. That thing's only going to be, what is it? Dash and row 12. It's not going to cover. It's not going to draw Destiny. It's only going to cover so much. Let me unlock there. So Dash and Rogue 12, yeah. So it'll cover up to 10. But like a Blizzard 4 plus somebody could overflow it pretty good. So probably signals that Justin doesn't have a Hoojix in hand. But that's probably also a pretty conservative play here. You don't want to get 7 overflow on turn 2. That could change the trajectory of the game a lot. Yeah, players' hands, it's on the right here. It's 8 on the light side, 10 for dark side. They're activating 15 to 11. Out comes Bespin. So, and here comes Piet to the docking bay, presumably to get Admiral's Order if he doesn't have one already. Obviously, General Leia being critical to old allies, she would suspend the Admiral's Orders, which is a good thing for Justin. That battle deployment, can slow down the pulling of combat vehicles and get more than 1 Battle Destiny through on the ground. Don't do that again comes out, so that'll prevent Connor from getting that 2 extra force from mobilization points or controlling a docking bay. Both players have now pulled 3 shields. So Connor just gets out. Piet Oswald draws. He's going to activate 11. He's got 12 cards in hand. I would expect maybe Justin to do what usually just done on turn 1 now. With OA, getting Rey, and General Calrissian flying up. Might be able to flip here as well. Probably could if you really wanted to. Yeah, so maybe that's what Connor was. I imagine he's probably drawing for it to get the Never Again effect. And no sight when Justin goes to deploy one. No Jakku sight. Here comes Calrissian. So that's a possible hindrance to Justin flipping this turn if that was his plan. Activating one of the site, getting a lot of force. I mean, that's one of the drawbacks of this deal deck is it gives away a ton of icons. Here comes General Leia to proactively or preemptively, whatever makes sense. The Admiral's Order. Here comes Leia's transports. This will be 2 force because Connor pulled the shield. I guess obviously one of the benefits of deal is you get to start secret plans. So that's 1 shield. That pretty much is always a pull. I always try to figure out if there's going to be any like shield busting considerations here. But neither player has pulled battle plan yet. Here comes Din in Old Allies. That's interesting. I don't play Old Allies barely ever, but I don't recall seeing Din in a lot of builds. So we have the fly up, we have Holdo, and Justin's got the 2 locations in decent shape. The one thing about deal is it doesn't often come at the opponent. It can, obviously, with walkers at exterior sites, but it wants to set up on Bespin, priority number 1, before disrupting. I mean, Paul is in the chat. He can provide some more insights on when and how and why you might go off planet to try to disrupt the opponent. But I feel like 9 times out of 10, it just wants to do its thing. So Connor gets the effect out for the free executor. And there it is. Mob points no longer suspended, so he's going to get... Well, he's probably not going to leave Piet and Nozzle there. I guess one of the big considerations here is to what extent are these guys going to battle in space? And to what extent does OA just want to do its thing versus Deal doing its thing? Of course, Old Allies, once it flips, can reduce that occupation damage down to 1. It can get through during a 2 at the system, and it can, like, you know, obviously set up BB-8 and Rose and be at the Drain 2 site and probably get through a decent amount of damage and retrieval on its own. Obviously, I think the people that play Walkers or the Deal or ISB, I would think that the most feared card oftentimes is Leia's Blaster Rifle. And if Leia is on another planet, that's always a plus probably for Deal. Connor's going to use the Aerotech Corporation V. 5 Force, get out a Tempest Scout 5 with Corporal Dre Lawson. And Connor still has 6 Force to work with. Of course, when Deal gets like 2-3 ATSDs out, if Lightside really wants to attack, it kind of needs multiple react cancers if it really wants to kind of break through. Yeah. And I feel like the one thing about Deal 2 is that it's so intensive with all the vehicles and usually has like 15 effects. It doesn't have a lot of like bullets to counter, so like, you know, you're never going to see like stuff like a restraining bolt or a Luxor droid, so it's just too niche, and it's just not usually needed because Deal will do its own thing and put through all its damage. I always say Deal, even though Dark Deal does not usually use it. So we have Chiranu coming out, so that'll make that system drain 2. I wonder if Connor wanted to put the Walker to the docking bay. Yeah, I think he just realized that. He just said, Yeah, because he put him to the walkway. He transits Piet, Ozzel. Then he's on 3 sites, and I guess maybe he realized he forgot to deploy Occupation. He's got 9 cards in hand. Move phase. Yeah, there goes Piet. I mean, he could just move the Walker too, but that doesn't really do anything for him because I think he might have forgot to deploy. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, never mind. That's how Ozzel came. He just transited Piet and then moved Ozzel straight there. Yeah, I have a feeling he's got Occupation still in his hand. Yeah, and this is, I mean, this is not a deck that Connor's played a ton. So I know, Paul, you probably have this sketched out like the back of your hand, like you know exactly what to do in every game just for all the muscle memory and reps for it. And now he's shuttling up. I don't know what's going on. I guess he's being conservative for some reason. Yeah, I don't get what happened there. It sounded like, or it seems like the plan went off script. So now Justin's going to get through a drain of 2, 1, and he's got to flip this turn, I would imagine. 5 cards in hand, probably the sight. Connor tosses Occupation from hand and Command from reserve deck and Sneak Attack V. If he's tossing Occupation from hand, that means he either has another one in hand or absolutely knows he's got one in reserve deck he's going to pull next turn. Right? Why else would he? I can't imagine another reason why he would just toss Occupation. I mean, yeah, well, that would be presumably 2 or 3 points of damage once he gets set up. Chiranu would be 2 damage at the system. Here comes the flip with Elors, who's good against undercover spies, good against on freighters such as the Falcon, which is a freighter. So he adds 1 to hyperspeed, I believe, 2 to hyperspeed, 3 good pilot, 3 scout smuggler. Out comes Ray to the downtown plaza. So Justin's going to challenge again. That costs 5 force. Here comes Finn. If he's got the Destiny adder, what is it? I'm getting pretty good at this. This would be 3 Destiny. He could subtract 2 from Connor's. Possible overflow, but Connor might have like Tempest Scout 6 in hand. Here comes Boo. Interesting. BB8 to the downtown plaza. You would think you'd want him. Yeah, I wonder if trample. So this is interesting. Here comes a battle. General A is going to cause a retrieval force. Connor projective telepathy. Okay. That's going to be really helpful. Not a card you see often in this deck. So, interesting. That's a card I had in my Black Sun Day 1 deck at Worlds. I like it when you have like Tank Jedi trying to come and battle. You got stuff like Greedo to just try to force choke, or maybe Battle Order First Strike if you're being on the offensive. Just try to force choke light side into using force for stuff they're not expecting to, like 3 force to initiate a battle, for example. All right, so Justin, I think, drew his last couple cards. He's got none saved. Connor's going to have 14 active, drains 2 at the system. Yeah, I don't know why BB-8's there either. I would think you'd want him like on Jakku, where he's a little safer. I mean, he can still be... Well, now he just seems like trample bait. And Justin didn't even leave a force to grab trample, should Connor find it. Maybe he even draws in his draw phase if he doesn't have one already. He's got 7 cards in hand. Tarkin's Bounty. Okay. It's going to go on to Ozzel. 14 cards in the force pile. Wonder what he's digging for. I mean, maybe a trample for like Finn, and then he tries to... Does Sneak Attack work on offensive battles? I don't know. Let's see. Maybe I should check Scomp Link access. I'm sure there's some people in the chat that will know though offhand. Because obviously you don't want to whiff on a trample on like Finn or Ray. If you do it in the battle, old allies can probably subtract from it, right? It can subtract from any Destiny. Once per battle, may subtract 2 from... Yeah, so it could subtract from a trample within the battle. Sneak Attack. Sneak Attack V. If opponent just initiate a battle. So yeah, it's only on defensive battles. Right. Yeah, he can't risk a blind trample, I agree. Sand card. So Connor decides on what he's going to grab. So we have... This has been a really busy day for OCS. We had 3 games already today. Maybe 4? Yeah, 4. This is game 5, and there's also a 6th game going on Mike Kessling's channel. If you guys want to do like 2 browsers at once, He's Troop 1023, and he's doing game 2 of Drew and Gavin. Drew won the first game by 23 as Yoda communing versus Gavin's signature route through operations V. Connor whiffs on, probably presumably anticipated to whiff, but just checks his reserve deck with arrest order for a docking bay. Yeah, so we're now in Connor's deploy phase. Justin's activating a ton, 19, because he gets the bonus. Here comes Temp of Scout 3, which is good counter to under attack, protects your other ones. Here comes Gideon. Okay, all right, so Connor's going to play this aggressively here. He's going to get download a trooper for deploy -2 to that location. It is Iroll, but his buddy is Dralosin, right? And he's up in space right now. Here comes Veers. That's a general possible Imperial command coming out here. He's got 3 force left. Power 18 to 9. Yeah, he's got to have a command here with a sand card, I would think. Yep, there's a sand card. And he's going to stack Vader, Enforcer, and Jendon and Onyx 1. Which has some synergy here. Where you know, if you are getting into some battles at the system, helpful. We have a battle. Connor's first top level is going to grab a card off sand to cap that, so his battle destiny will be protected from being reduced from we need your help. Justin wouldn't play the Destiny adder with Finn and Rey. That would add to battle destiny. He draws a 4. So he's going to 23. And even if Justin draws high here, we have to take care of myself or handle myself. So he's going to have 10 force in battle. Oh, no, 9, because Rey adds 1. So he's going to have to lose something substantial. Connor tosses Moff Gideon. So again, this is game 1. Justin was the higher seed. He chose light side first, Old Allies. Connor played No Idea at Worlds, and he also played Map. And these guys played, whoa, here goes BB-8, zoom in. This happens every once in a while in the new interface. So yeah, so he loses BB-8 and Finn and doesn't do any additional force loss. So, I mean, one thing Justin might consider, Justin also played Map at Worlds. That was the game 1 that was streamed. And he played Qui-Gon communing for light. So, I'll be curious of Justin's thought process on Old Allies. I think a lot of people turned down on Map after Worlds. It did not do well at Worlds, despite it being the second most popular deck. I think obviously its biggest strength is attacking OA, but Y4O does really well against Map and did well against it. So Justin will activate. Connor moves Executor to Jakku to stop the drain of 2. Justin raid into a card. He's got only 3 cards in hand, so he's kind of hand-starved here with these kind of 2 pseudo attacks on Bespin that Connor was, able to mostly fend off. Projective gets lost off the top. Yeah, so Connor's down 10 in life force, but he's up 2 in hand, so he's down 8 overall. Probably expect Rey to run away here. Justin's going to use Brave Resistance to toss Rose and upload Chewie, who of course can shoot at vehicles like a lightsaber. Here comes the Corvette. I wonder if Ridus pulled that earlier in the game and I didn't notice it, or he just happened to have it. So on the Executor we have Dralosin, Ozzel, and Chirno. Yeah, Lightmaker would be big here just to make sure that Connor loses some pilots. He could Holdo Bomb as well. So you're adding, 7 to your total battle destiny? Even if you drew like a 5, okay, he can kill 2 pilots. No, he would kill, 2 pilots, like Ozzel, Chirno. Dralosin's only 4'5". timers. Both players seems to be playing pretty smoothly, at least from my perspective. They're pretty even on time. Ellers makes a lot of sense. U3PO was very popular at Worlds. A lot of dark decks. He'll just never go away. Going back to 1996, U3PO, one of the most powerful cards in the game. Always need to have your undercover spy protection. He's good. I like him in kind of No Idea sometimes too, depending on the meta. Just because Scout, he works at the beach. He's a good pilot. Just protects you from lateral damage. Justin goes his battle phase. Chewie goes out to the graveyard. And he's going to pass on battling. Ray's going to move away. And I would think someone's probably going to join Chewie at the crash site or graveyard. What's it called? The graveyard. Yeah, so Justin controlling 2 Jakku locations will enable him to reduce any drain. This will be a big turn for Connor, as we're kind of getting mid-game here of some key decisions. How's he going to flip the script? Because right now the trajectory favors Justin. He's threatening 4 damage. Connor's only threatening 2. No Rose, no BB-8 out. Justin putting Rose down was interesting in that he's probably like, I don't need her quite yet. Or maybe he's got, for all we know, he's got another one in his hand. And just figured that turn made more sense. But, so this drain gets, yeah, did I just say 4 to 2? It's actually, yeah. With Justin flipped, he can even take that 1 drain down to 1. Force push. So Connor has another card he's hopeful to get here. Maybe like a Blizzard 4. Something to maybe try to put Ray on her back foot here. Maybe like I wonder what the plan might be here with the system, because Justin's got plenty of forfeit. He's got an Admiral for Rebel Leadership V if he needs to. He's got General Calrissian for possible punch it, which wouldn't make sense because Connor can just pluck a card. But in terms of maybe burning through sand cards. Yeah, that's true. That's right. So Enforcer was on sand. Connor plucked him off. We can go here. Wouldn't be surprised if Justin has like a barrier in hand. But yeah, if he could go like Vader, Walker, Trample, and then try to put some overflow on Din. That could be a line. Because that would be 14 power versus Din covers, what, 4 and 6, so 10? Yeah, so, but of course, if Justin has a Hujix, that's not going to do much. And that's it. And that would be like that would be a whole turn. You occupy, no one's scared. Yeah, good call there, Chris. That yeah, if he goes Blizzard 4 first, then he doesn't have to pay the extra bonus. There you go. Can't rotate. So Connor picked a card. He's probably debating his plan of action here. So out comes Tarkin to the Executor, so he can of course add a Destiny with another leader like Ozzel. Out comes Thrawn, who's going to add a Destiny. So he's presumably going to be grabbing a leadership here, if Justin has that. Yep. Alright, so that's going to, yep, so he grabs it. This is interesting, because I don't think he's never going to kick Justin out of space. He's just going to be able to, even if he has to lose a lot of forfeit here, he can just keep running away and just keep pushing damage through on the ground. And if he runs away, so then Connor would only have 2, and like 2, which would be reduced by 1. So he's forcing 3 versus like 3. It's pretty even, but Justin has more life force right now, a little bit more. So this is probably gonna be a pretty close game, it appears. So Connor drew a 5. Justin subtracted 2, so it's a 3, which is less than 4, which are the number of Imperials. So Connor then redrew it, and then he ended up with a 2. So he ended up 1 worse. And Justin's going to draw the Admiral Statura, Jedi Lev, take it into hand. Probably try to get something better than a 3. It's a 2, that's worse, so they're even on both going from Battle Destinies of 3 down to 2. Connor's fully immune, and Justin's going to have to lose something. And he loses Elors. And Justin's going to grab a card with Ray at the end of his turn. Anyone know the matchup in the Drew-Gavin game, too? Kind of curious how that's going as well. Drew had a big win in game 1 by 23. So, of course, one of the things with OCS is that you can pick your deck up to the minute that the game starts. So, I wonder if Gavin had some type of Hail Mary or high variance deck that he could win by a lot. BB-8, yeah, that's right, he's captured, yep. So, yeah, that's what Joker King was talking about, the drain of 3, because BB-8 adds 1 when he's a captive. Alright, so another kind of key mid-game turn here. Justin's going to push through 1, 2, 3 damage. Hiko map. So yeah, I know Drew really likes playing his map. And Hiko, I think, well, I had a couple close. Well, Paul won narrowly with it over Warp's TTO, and then Silver Glen had Hiko that just blew out poor Brian Fred's ISB and caused the game to concede. All right, so Connor loses Corporal Oberk off the top. I feel like, does he get played? He's the ISB guy. Does he get played a lot in these deal decks? I feel like he doesn't have kind of like a special thing like Elsic or Barrick or Iroll or Draylosin. He doesn't even add anything. He's only a 4'5" guy. Yeah, Rose will come out at some point. 26-19 in favor of Justin and Life Force. He's at 7. He also has 3 more cards in hand, so he's up 10. And out comes Tatura, who, yes, will add a Battle Destiny with another leader at an EP7 location, Resistance leader. So this is going to be 2 Battle Destiny. I don't think obviously he does the Holdo Bomb. He won't get the second Destiny. And I don't think we're going to see a Holdo Bomb here. It just opened himself up, took a counterbeat. And then just a PSA. So tomorrow we're going to have quite a matchup. It starts at 1 o'clock Eastern. Bastion, who is the 2 seed, is picked Joe for the top 16 matchup. Those players have won the last 4 World Championships. Dan will have the call for both games on the PC channel. So I definitely want to watch that. That's going to be a really, really good match, presumably. Out comes Anakin from Justin against Tepescout 5 and Piet, and he's just going to move Ray over. Yeah, so it looks like Justin will take an approach here of just, he's going to be up in damage, he's up in life force. You know, the way this trajectory is probably heading, he's probably looking at like a win of 10-12 unless Connor can disrupt something. Maybe even more, honestly. Now he's able to reload his hand, perhaps get like a barrier or probably another leadership. Maybe a Finn who can react places. All types of tricks and stuff just to make sure that he can keep his board presence strong. And I think that's one of the drawbacks of the deal deck. It puts so many cards on table, and it doesn't quite, like IE would do the same thing, but IE had that ability to retrieve the trooper every turn. So I feel like it would often stabilize when it got down to like 16-20. I've seen and experienced many games against Paul and Silver Glen and Timo where it's like they got a bunch of cards on table. Their board state's really strong, but like the life force looks low, but they're just able to weather the late game really well. This one has some benefits in that its sights can't get projection of a Skywalker. It has the deploy +1 from the system if they control it. It's got some pluses, but that was one thing about IE was that it was, I feel like, able to bump that differential up late game a little better than this one can, this variant of the deck. Connor, so Justin tosses BB-8 to the drain, and he verifies his reserve deck. Only 3 cards in hand. I wonder if he might have to kind of start shifting to try to minimize the game, because he's going to have some good cards in hand to flip the script here. So that's the schedule for tomorrow afternoon. Presumably 1 to 3, 1 to 4 o'clock Eastern time. Those 2 games will happen. For the match, Bastion won the 2019 OCS. Both those are 2 of the 3 players who've been in all 4 OCS top 16s. Out comes Enforcer to the Executor. I don't know about that. I don't know if you want Vader in space. I mean, of course you can shuttle him down. Here comes the leadership again to limit Connor from 3 down to 1. Whereas Justin's going to be drawing 2. Yeah, I'm not sure what Vader's doing. I wonder if am I crazy? No, he's not going to hold O-Bomb. I was going to say, I wonder if at some point might be able to sneak in, hey, I can knock off almost all these pilots and then really set Connor back. But he's probably just totally content just to almost stall in space. As long as he's got battle plan satisfied, which I guess neither player has pulled it, because neither player would want to pull it. We saw those 6 shields pulled earlier across the 2 players, but haven't seen any since. Justin draws a 5 and a 3, Rose and Leia. That's interesting. So he's going 1-1. I think that's what a lot of the decks at Nationals did back when Shadow was expected to be kind of strong. So Holdo goes to attrition and covers the battle damage. Connor loses nothing, right? Yeah, see, I think this is, he's just not going to have enough time. He's never going to kick him out of space, and he's not forcing any damage, really. He's just going to keep chipping away. So down come Vader and Tarkin. And Connor's still probably going to be fine in space with whoever he has on there. Lightmaker would be pretty big, because then at least it would help Justin wear down those pilots, but I don't think that's winning the game or losing the game for him not having Lightmaker. Definitely not. Yeah, you wouldn't want to hold up bomb now, because then Satura's Battle Destiny goes away. I just wonder, sometimes Light Side can find a gap that, oh wow, if I can get the Battle Destiny high enough, I can completely knock this thing out, but there's enough fodder on it right now that that's not going to happen. And then Connor will move Veers, and Tempest got 3 over. So now he's covered up all of Justin's damage except for 1. And we just saw Rose drawn for Destiny. I wonder at what point does Justin want to get Rose out? He obviously can't get BB-8 out because he's captured right now. Justin's going to activate all but 4. And Connor immediately cancels Chewie's text so he doesn't leave Tarkin open to getting hit with sorry about the mess. Of course, Vader can't be targeted by Start with the Mess because of his game text. Don't do that again. Justin wants to see what those 4 cards are. And it still is activate phase, so he could activate more depending on what info he just got, which he does not. There comes a drain of 1. We are at... Oh, he adds 1 with the drain, or with the handle, the female interrupt. More, I think I can handle myself. Formerly known, I think, as I can take care of myself. I think the name changed at one point because I think it was not the exact quote from the movie. Connor loses occupation. That's another thing. Yeah, so Connor's never gotten occupation out, even though this is probably, OA can cap it, but Ray will draw a card. Justin's up to 9 cards in hand. Here comes his deploy phase. Out comes Saw. So he'll add 2 to total attrition. Din is going to be adding Battle Destiny because he's with an alien and Chewie. So Justin's going to get 2 Destiny plus 2. Probably won't be an issue clearing both characters, and out comes Blue 11 for some more power, which could upload a non-pilot rebel, I believe, of ability less than 5. Yeah. So, and out comes Rose. So this is a good turn for Justin. That he's just gonna. Now he's got a retrieval option. He's gonna retrieve with General Leia. He's gonna clear Connor off this site. Maybe Connor can take out 2 of these characters/vehicles if he draws. And yeah, now Justin's going to get another retrieval with Din. So yeah, so Justin's not going to really be padding that life force. He's at 20 now. And I can't imagine he wouldn't retrieve another one to get to 21. He's got 6 cards in hand. And then at the very least, if things really get bad for Justin in space, he'll just run away. It's not like I can't imagine Connor put like a gravity shadow in here. He's got his second ship. I don't know. I mean, he might have a third ship. Maybe he's got the cannons, but probably not. And even if he did, that can't target capital ships. So I'm just thinking out loud here of the way this is going to probably go. And Justin can just keep running around on Bespin. Even if Connor can get a drain through, it's going to be reduced because now Justin's going to control 2 Jakku battlegrounds again. Yeah, that's probably good question, Ryan. Would it make sense for Connor to pluck the card off sand and possibly only lose 1 character, which would then mean Justin wouldn't control 2 locations, and then maybe Connor can get a drain of 3. Maybe Justin pulls ultimatum there. So Connor does pluck the card. Justin draws a 4, which will be plus 2 to attrition. Unless I'm doing any math wrong. But, so Connor could just lose Grand Moff Tarkin. He draws a 6, which means... I think that's somebody, right? Blue 11 is forfeit 6. Saw is forfeit 6. Chewie 6. Yeah, so each of them are going to lose 1 thing. So that was probably a good sand choice. Because if not, Connor's definitely losing both those guys. Because Justin would just need to draw... Well, he'd have to draw 5-2. Then that would get to 9 total attrition, which would definitely clear both. But even more importantly, even if you drew 4-2, he'd still have to lose Vader, or even if you drew 5 total, plus 2 from Saw for attrition, 7, Vader would have to go. And having just Tarkin there is seemingly a lot worse than having at least Vader. At least Vader can get rid of someone's game text. And now Justin's going to move the 2 capital ships to Bespin. And Is he going to leave the Falcon there or also move the Falcon? So this, from a bestman location to a non-bestman requires +1. So yeah, Justin uses one more force and lands the Falcon. Okay. And gets out Statura, and yeah, Connor's not going to be able to do anything, so he's going to have to run from this stack here at the graveyard. But he will be able to get a drain of... I'm going to bet that Justin's going to pull Ultimatum, cap this drain, because Tyranny would make it a 3. I'm not sure what other shields that Justin would need. There's pretty much no retrieval in the deal deck. Yeah, there's Ultimatum. Yeah, so Connor has Onyx 2 in hand that he took off of the sand card. As Ryan says, if he has the other Onyx, he can go both. He'd have to draw like 5-4 to get rid of both ships. And so Justin just left Anakin and Rey in front, which is probably fine. This is Piet. This is Iroll, so he's going to get 1 Destiny. Connor would need like another command. Justin hasn't grabbed anything yet. Here comes a second grabber. The second grabber from Connor. Old Allies has a lot of pesky interrupts, especially late game. Stuff like it's a hit, or it can be worse, or... the like. Yeah, that's true. So this is just ability 2 pilot here with Leia's Resistance Transport, which was the AI for the OCS March month. It's a pretty cool AI, rather than Luminous. Corvette's only ability 1. Let's see, we are still in Connor's deploy phase. He just deployed the effect. Connor's at 16-3, so 19. Justin's at 19-5, so 24. And Connor's going to deploy the tie to Jakku. Okay. So then he can move Executor, maybe just leave the tie there. Make sure he's not allowing Justin to turn on the 7-side reduction ability, damage reduction ability. Vader's going to run away. I mean, you would think that Justin's probably got, what, 4 Rebel leaderships in the deck? At least 3. Probably 4. If he kind of tracks things around or lines things up, he could... Probably wouldn't be too crazy for him just to add 1 with General Leia and clear both of these characters. I don't think Ozzel's going to help you. You almost want 1 more numpty here to soak up forfeit so Vader survives. But, yeah, Justin's got some strong characters here on the ground that he can just keep shifting around. Connor's sort of betting that Justin doesn't have any more starships, which is probably the case. Decks like Diplo and OA seem to get a lot of bang for their buck out of their starships. All right, so Connor's going to turn off Rose's retrieval. And Justin's going to grab a card with Rey. He has 2 force saved. Comes a drain at 2, which he could, like, Tarkin's Orders this, which he does. Let's see if Justin grabs it. He might not, just because, like, how many more opportunities is Connor going to have to do that? Presumably, Justin's going to be moving the 2 starships, either running them away or maybe just flying the Falcon up. I'd be shocked if Connor controls Jakku next turn, and if the Tarkin's Order cancels like a drain of 1 on Cloud City, Justin's probably not too bent out of shape about that. So yeah, but then what's the grabber saved for? Probably trample. So now Justin doesn't get any damage through that turn, which is something that Connor probably needs just to be able to catch his breath and make sure he's not losing too many cards that inhibit his ability to do other stuff. All right, we're in Justin's deploy phase. Turn 7. Let's see what his plan for this turn is. I guess while he's thinking, everyone sign up for the Jawa Cup if you're able. There's a post on the forums. Bill's running it, Taco Bill. If you are not in the OCS top 16 or not in the Outrider Cup, you are eligible. There's going to be a lot of prizes. I am going to be dropping in some more prizes pretty soon. There's a prize post within the Jawa Cup forum for what's already on the slate. As Justin moves Leia's Resistance Transport away, and Connor's going to cycle I Can't Shake Him V. Each of those ships costs +1, but Justin has plenty of force and his force battle to pay for it. So Connor's lining up a 5. I should probably, and there's a 4 Tarkin's Order on the bottom, so he's got 5-4 there, which would enable him to take out like Rey and Anakin if Justin doesn't move away. For example, if he wants to. Oh no, he wouldn't be able to do that because of the objective. Subtracts 2. So he could take that 5-4 down to 7 and just lose one of his guys. Blocking that drain's pretty big. So Connor's going to be presumably getting a drain of 2 through at the system, Bestman system. Justin's moving his characters and starships around on Jakku. Falcon flies up. Statura stays at the site, but yeah, so everyone's signed for the Jawa Cup. It's Jawa format. The format was updated. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's a 6-game Swiss event. I think at the end of the first, I did it 2 years ago. I think there was like 50-some people, like 58 people. I don't know how many last year. I was fortunate enough to qualify for the OCS top 16, so I wasn't as paying as much attention to it. But I know Bill does a really good job running that, and lots of other events too. Like the Road to Worlds, for example, last year. All right, so Rhodes' game text is restored at the end of the turn here. Justin did a bunch of move phase stuff. So we have Connor's up 1 in life force, but down 7 in hand. So yeah, maybe this is trending a little more towards like a 8-10 win for Justin. Maybe even less, because Connor will get a drain of 2 through here. He can keep trying to turn off Rose. Ooh. Connor's going to trample Anakin. Did he track around one of those Admiral's orders? Yes, alright, so Justin uses the grabber on trample. Does he have the P scan to cancel it? Perimeter scan V? Wow, alright, so that's good tracking by Connor. I definitely wasn't paying attention. Oh! Justin has their tracking us to subtract. Wow. So he does miss. So he got a little greedy. Oh, that's right. That's one of those annoying interrupts and Connor's going to grab it. Maybe an act of the heat of the moment, being frustrated with it, but also maybe that's just a good card to grab. Like I said, OA can run. It's a hit. It could be worse. It could be worse. Makes more sense. Always makes more sense when it could be cycled, like with like a 3PO or something, but which doesn't seem to be the case here. So Connor's gonna get a drain of 2 through. There goes the gets a hit. I guess, yeah. So Justin figures he's not gonna control a system location to be able to get that through. And he loses another Wisa, which I know he lost 1 a couple turns ago. Or maybe it was just last turn. And that did the trick. Out comes Blizzard 2, so Connor's going to be throwing some more power here. He doesn't have any cards in his reserve deck. He's probably going to just load Veers on it. Veers is going to be escorting BB-8 while piloting a walker. What can he do? And now Connor's going to move. Yeah, so it's just no occupation out. I mean, obviously, like, if the occupation was 3... Well, no, at this point, if Connor's just able to keep stalling Justin from getting on 2 battlegrounds, he can get drains of, like, 2 through or, occupation damage for 2 or 3 through, should he choose to go that route. Now, this is... Okay, so obviously Connor's going to save a bunch of force, so he has stuff for reacts. Justin pops Walkling to retrieve 1 force, which is Wisa, so now he's got a 5 that he can easily know where it is. Draylosin gets shuttled down, so there's more fodder here, so now he's going to have like 11 fodder here, and Ozzel and Draylosin that he could lose and still keep Vader alive should Justin have, leadership. And Connor's going to draw 1, maybe more. So one thing I'll plug too, so I know there's this, as we talked about at the beginning about the auto hosting situation, they're on the Twitch, on the PC Twitch, they have like suggested streamers. And I would suggest, if you're on Twitch and you like watching Star Wars CCG getting streamed, follow all those people. And then when they go live, you'll get notifications. So even if, some things are fluid, and I know there was a lot of fluid stuff this week with people losing power here and there, and just life happening, people moving some games around. If you just subscribe to the people that often stream, you'll get notifications. I think that's one of the drawbacks of the auto hosting function, is that in the PC's auto hosting, you're not going to get a notification that they're live. But yet, if you just go to twitch.tv SWCGPC, there'll be a game available. So I'll just do a plug there. We have a lot of really good streamers on there. So if you see the suggested ones on the bottom, definitely follow them if you want to be notified when people are streaming, especially as these playoffs go through. I'm sure, Outrider Cup will have a lot of streaming done. Jawa Cup, especially like when they get to the top 8 of that. Gem PC is going to happen and it usually kicks off in January. So there's going to be a lot of online streaming coming up. So people will just ad hoc follow and start streaming competitive games. So if you're interested in watching those, definitely follow people on Twitch. So we see Rose's game text is canceled again. Justin gets through a drain of 2. Connor tosses a Tempest Scout 2 and battle deployment, or Tempest Scout 2 from hand. Battle deployment off the top. There's a 6. Justin's going to verify, see what his 3 cards are. In his deploy phase, we got turn 8 here. Life Force. Justin's still up, as he has been basically the whole game. He's at 15 down versus Connor's 12, so he's up 3, and then he's up 5, so he's up 8 total. He just got his round of damage through. Out comes Poe. So this is going to be interesting. So Justin can either battle at the system and bait out a command there, or risk... he'll probably be fine. He could definitely get rid of this tie. Does this thing have any immunity? Not that it matters, because I'm sure Justin will draw more than 4 with the 2. Be shocked if he draws like 2-1. But then it might leave him open over here. It's an interesting play. So Connor, he obviously needs that force to react. And command is not, gosh, getting late. Leadership's grabbed. Command is not grabbed. Connor could play command for free. But you can only play it at one of the 2 locations. So battle in space, maybe Connor plays command here, and then still has force to react here. Out comes Holdo again. You get a battle at the outpost. Justin's going to grab a card back because of General Leia. So Rose's game text is canceled. Saul's adding 3 to attrition. Ooh. Oh, yeah. So Tura's adding the Battle Destiny with Leia. There's the 5 that Justin tracked around. So that's going to be 8 attrition, and what's the second one is going to be a 4, so that's 12, so that's going to be just enough to clear Vader and one of the other 2 guys. So that's definitely something that Justin was probably hoping for, to get Vader off the ground. He can now not have to worry about his Rose retrieval getting canceled. Connor draws a 1, which is going to go down to 0, and Justin's going to lose nobody. I just wonder if anyone's obviously still in the chat, like if Paul's still here, people that are really familiar with Deal, how does this matchup play out if Deal just like completely tries to do its own thing? Can it just try to get through a bunch of little damage at the 3 sites, fortify so that OA doesn't have any like holes to get through and try to battle off the sites? Like, who would cause more damage? I guess 2 at the system with the Falcon, 2 BB-8, 5, it's like a 7 force, basically a cycle for light, whereas Dark could do like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That'd be pretty even. Depends on who puts some more cards on the table. I wonder how that would play out if you just said, all right, OA versus Deal, let's just both ignore each other and see what happens. I feel like OA might be slightly more efficient with its cards, but I don't know. I don't play either. As OA, I've had more trouble when they invade the Jakku sites, yeah. Alright, so Connor's going to drain a 1 through. Justin tosses Layer from hand. And Justin's going to lose another Rose from hand. Out comes Blizzard 4, Power 8. No download, presumably because there's nothing there, or Connor just wants to draw those 2 Battle Destiny because of years. And Justin, if he has Finn, could react with him for free. Okay, no. Connor draws a 4. Justin subtracts with the objective, make it 2. And a 6, so that's going to be 8. So presumably that's going to be Anakin. And Justin draws a 4, which becomes a 5, which becomes a 6. Ooh. Oh, that's huge. Because now Connor's going to have to lose 2 things. And one of which, so Justin's just going to take BB-8, put him in his use pile. Interesting. Okay, so that's rough for Connor. But at this point, it seems like a lot of Justin's deck is 4 and 5s. And Justin loses everybody. Yeah, because he had 10 battle damage rather than peeling anything just to keep one guy running around on Cloud City, possibly being just a liability. And the attrition was, what, 8? Yeah. Yeah. All right, so now Connor's going to kick off turn 9 here. He's at 9 cards down to Justin's 17. Justin has 3 cards in hand. Justin won the OCS in 2018 and 2020, so he's the defending OCS champion. I think he was the, 4 or 5? I think it was the 5 seed for the draft. Connor got one of the season-long at-larges. I think he was maybe the 9 or 10 seed. Oh no, sorry. The start of Justin's turn. So he gets a couple drains through. Now he controls the 2 Jakku battlegrounds, so this Downtown Plaza drain is going to be 1. Yeah, so Connor could probably churn out, another round or 2, probably 2 more rounds of damage. But Rose is going to be retrieving. If he leaves himself to any battles, General Leia can get some cards back. But I don't think he's going to do that. He has no force saved for React. But how many characters, Trying to think who Justin would still have left, character-wise. Out comes, who's that, Beaumont? Yeah, Beaumont. Beaumont-kin. Here comes another general layer retrieval. Yeah, so Connor is what, 6 forfeit here. And then another 6 is 12, 19, 25. Yeah, so Connor's not going to get cleared out of space. But Justin could definitely try to put a dent in it. Here comes leadership, number 3. Stacked on the grabber. Prevents Connor from drawing more than 1. Yeah, and then if he's got to run away, it would have 6.28. And Connor draws a 6, which is going to get reduced by 2, right? Down to 4. So Justin's going to have to lose somebody. Connor's going to have to lose the tie. The tie are 2 guys, which I doubt he's going to do. He does. He loses Ozzel. I guess he wants to be able to be on 2. Ooh. Couldn't he have just lost the tie? Why didn't he just lose the tie? Maybe he was just on tilt. Right? Because he had, 10 and change attrition. Executors mean less than 12. Is something canceling immunity here that I'm not realizing? Why didn't he just lose Onyx and call it a day? Not that I think that changes a lot. I mean, maybe he was trying to do something of now Justin's not really afraid of Connor's space. He doesn't have to keep running from it. He's got more power, more battle destiny, more tricks, honestly. Yeah, I mean now he could hold a bomb and just draw 5 and Connor's out of space. So yeah, this is approaching. Connor's going to keep chipping away. He could probably, so if he runs the executor away, and then Justin gets through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 damage, Connor will live another day, or live another turn, I should say. He'll retrieve 1. Again, maybe this is now going to end up in that 10 to 12 range. Connor pulling resistance because so Beaumont doesn't make this a drain of 3 because he works in space, right? Where is he? Oh, did he lose him? Oh, never mind. He lost him. Connor did not move executor away. That's not good. He needs a command, right? If he doesn't have a command, Justin could finally do a holdo bomb. Statura's back up here, right? So he's getting 3 destiny with Poe, Statura. Yeah, he might not even have to holdo bomb if he just draws a. What is this? 7 and. This is only forfeit 3, right? Yeah. So all he needs to draw. Well, he could draw 11, and then he could keep the tie, but he'd have to lose the other things. Connor loses Never Again City and Barrack. Justin's going to get the female interrupt to add a drain, so that becomes 2. Connor loses another occupation. I'm curious what his plan with occupation was. Because, yeah, obviously the objective can reduce it, but it's an opportunity cost. If Justin's got to reduce the occupation drain, he can't reduce the drain at the downtown plaza or the drain at the system with Chernu. So it definitely has value to be out, right? Yeah, so I think Connor forfeited, it, not the way he should have, which he probably instantly realized. Yeah, so then if Justin kicks him out of space, Connor can only do one more damage, which is Justin would just lose it from hand. So this is now looking like Justin's going to win this by like 17? 18, because he's going to get a card back with Leia. This is the thing about OA. They just start like getting all this retrieval from all sorts of directions. And Din is another part of that. Rose, Leia, obviously Walkling's one. Yeah, so Justin definitely is going to draw a BB-8 here, right? Oh, yeah, see, I'm just so accustomed to Battle Plan being out. Yeah, and obviously now Justin's busted, so he can't pull Battle Plan unless he's got like a Hear Me Baby or a P-Scan. But yeah, even if Connor's kicked out of space, he could still get 1/1/1 through. Sorry, again, it's late for me. Here comes Rose. She's going to be the one. Total battle is 12, and that's still going to clear Thrawn and the Executor. He draws a 6, which is going to get reduced. And a 4. So he's going to have a total of 6, which is going to kill one character. Probably Poe or General Calrissian. Probably General Calrissian at this point. And a 8 attrition. Yeah, that's right, 4 and 4. So he's got to lose 2 people. Satura and maybe the Corvette. At this point, it's moot. Connor's not really going to be able to do anything. With his Executor, there's nothing he could do to stop 3 damage. And then get overflowed. So yeah, it's just drain 1/1 draw. Which will be a win of 16 for Justin. Which is like middle round. Mid-range. You don't have to do anything crazy. You don't have to play some crazy high variance deck, but it's not going to be easy to come back from 16. Definitely not against somebody who's won 2 OCS titles, 2 World Championships, in the Hall of Fame. But the second game of this hasn't been scheduled yet. Based on how the first game was scheduled, who knows when it'll be? It might be, for all we know, it might be in 20 minutes. But yeah, once that's scheduled, we'll try to broadcast it. There's a thread on the forums for this whole round, and there's the scheduling, but you know, things are dynamic. Sometimes the event gets changed, and the schedule in the forums isn't updated quite that fast, which is why, again, I recommend following all the people that the PC suggests to stream. Wow, so now Justin gets a hit off, so he's going to cycle the card, stop the drain, and now it's going to be 18 for Justin. If he's got, like, it could be worse, that'd be brutal, in that it allows Justin to put back another card, but no, he doesn't have that. Yeah, alright, so it's going to be 17. Right, I don't see anything else. Draw. Okay. Alright. So, good game. Justin wins then as Old Allies over Connor's deal. And I think they'll let us know at some point when they're playing the next game. So, thanks to everyone for tuning in and listening. Again, public service reminder. Tomorrow, 1 o'clock Eastern, Bash and Joe. They're going to play 2 games back-to-back. Tune in for that. Dan's going to have the call. That's going to be a really, really good watch. And yeah, just follow the forums, follow the Twitter. They'll be updating, who's winning and who's moving on and the like. But yeah, exciting 2021 Online Championship Series playoffs. All right, well, thanks everyone for tuning in. We'll get this on the YouTube channel so it can be watched whenever. But yeah, thanks again for everyone for helping with the chat, helping this move along. Everyone take care. See you next time.